lead this webinar. Really, truly an honor. Thank you so much for sharing your wealth of wisdom and knowledge. We are so fortunate right now. Without further ado, Malena, please begin Kweller Prep's webinar. You are leading this on your acceptance journey to 8 out of 8 Ivy Leagues to 28 out of 20 webinar on what a successful series of college applications. It is such an honor to be in the audience right now. I'm going to be in the background and I'm looking forward. Go ahead.
Hi everyone. I'm so excited to be presenting right now. I'm gonna share my screen to okay, to this presentation I prepared on how I got into 8 out of 8 Ivy Leagues and 28 other universities to give you guys tips and hopefully help you through this process, which I know can seem a little daunting coming into it. Can everyone see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is my journey to applying to all 8 Ivies and 28 universities, which I was accepted to all of them. Okay, so getting into this, I'm just going to be introducing myself, going through a breakthrough of each section of the college admissions process, and then at the end, I'll be giving general tips on how to go through it, and we'll be doing some questions and answers at the end. So first, a little about myself. I just graduated Bronx Science. I went to Booker T for middle school. My parents are immigrants from Argentina, and they are tango instructors. So I've actually been dancing tango since I was 2 years old. That's something that's very important to me and was an important part of my college applications. I've been a long time Kweller Prep student, and I absolutely love Kweller. I did the Hunter prep course, the SHSAT prep course, which is how I got into Bronx Science, which I'm eternally grateful. And then I did the PSAT prep course. So sort of like launching me into this college admissions process. To sort of briefly go over some of my stats, I got a 1560 on the SAT, and my GPA was 97.06. I'm going to go through this in more depth later in the presentation, but some of my main extracurriculars was I was a speech and debate captain at my school. I founded the Gender Equity Board at my school, and I'll explain a little more what that is later. And then I was a tutor for students who speak Spanish. I was accepted to all 28 schools that I applied to, including all 8 Ivy Leagues, and I will attend Harvard University in the fall. Moving on. So I'm just kind of going to go through an overview of the college admissions process, how I did things and how I recommend students what you should do and kind of tips to be successful throughout this process. So throughout your junior year, what I really recommend is start building relationships with your teachers, because these junior year teachers are the ones who are going to be writing your letters of recommendation, which are a very important aspect of the college admissions process. So what this can look like is going to office hours. I know Bronx Science, we have this thing called SGI, almost every day after school, where you can go to your teachers and ask them questions, work on your homework with them. So it's taking advantage of these sort of opportunities with them. When you have questions, emailing them for help, participate a lot in class, because these class time is where you get to know your teachers the most and where they get to know you the most. And just overall being a positive presence in class, because in the letters of recommendation, it's important that teachers can speak to how you interact with your classmates as well. So if your teacher can write something like, you know, so-and-so is somebody who's always encouraging other students, especially those who might not be as outspoken in the classroom. that's something that really speaks to how you are, and I think universities are really going to be attracted to a student like that. And so when springtime comes, once you have this sort of good relationship with your teachers, you're going to pick two of them. I did my AP Physics 1 teacher and my AP English Lang teacher to write your recommendations. And I think it's important that you get one STEM recommendation and one humanities recommendation to show that you're a well-rounded student. And then junior year, you're also going to want to start studying for the SAT. Kweller Prep has a fantastic prep course, which I highly recommend. And also during your junior year, you're going to want to start brainstorming your Common App ideas for your personal statement. And I'll go into a little bit what that is. But personally for me, I've known for a while that I wanted my essay to be about tango. And I'm going to read a little excerpt from my personal statement. But so you'll get to see what that was like. I highly encourage you to read examples. There's many online of successful personal statements. And I think the more you read, the more examples you read, the more familiar you will become with sort of the structure and how you're supposed to write your essay so that it engages people and truly shows these college counselors who you are and that you should be at these universities. The summer before your senior year, I recommend that you finish your personal statement. You probably will go through multiple drafts. I personally had 7, which I know can seem a lot and daunting, but once you start writing it, I think it feels more like a natural process. I highly recommend that you ask for feedback and be open to it. I know a lot of the times people ask for feedback, and then in my personal experience, sometimes I've given them feedback and they have not been receptive to it. I think most of the time when people are taking the time out of their day to give you comments, they're being genuine about it. So if somebody is, writing comments, giving you advice on things they think you should edit, at least consider where they might be coming from. Don't be closed off when people are giving you comments. Also consider what perspectives they are coming from. So something to remember is that these personal statements and college essays aren't being read by other 17-year-olds. So it's important to also ask adults in your life for them to read your essays and consider their feedback. I recommend, your teachers that you have, like your English teacher, your guidance counselor, people like that have experience with these essays, and that they have that perspective that can help you. Also, I think it's really important to trust your gut. If you know, like, for example, personally, sometimes I would write something and I truly would love it. And sometimes I would get feedback from either my friends or my teachers that they think it would be better to do it a certain way. But if I knew that that is how I want my essay to be, ultimately the college is accepting you, not the people you have editing your essay. So yes, consider feedback that you're given, but ultimately trust yourself and what you want for how your essays to be. If you're sort of stuck on how to write your essay or where to even start, I know something you can do is do free writes. We're going to go over the specific prompts for the personal statement from the college app. And so just having a moment where you know that you might not use what you're writing for your actual personal statement, but sometimes going through and writing, I don't know, a paragraph about a certain experience you had might help you develop your ideas for what you actually want your personal statement to be. And I highly recommend having a schedule and being organized throughout this whole process, because this essay is not something you can write in 1 week. It took me personally the whole summer. And so, you can start now and there's still a lot of time. So make sure you're organized with how you're spending your time with this process, and especially writing the personal statement. And, during the summer, visit schools if you can, and try to finish your college list, like the schools you want to apply to. These are the 7 prompts that the Common App gives you for the personal statement. And basically, they're all geared to your experiences. So I'll just read them out loud. The first one being, some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is meaningful, that is so meaningful that they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. Two, the lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. How did it affect you? And what did you learn from that experience? Three, reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged an idea or belief. What prompted your thinking? What about the outcome? Reflect on something that someone has done for you that has made you happy or thankful in a surprising way. How has this gratitude affected or motivated you? Five, discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself or others. Six, describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. Why does it captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more? And lastly, share an essay on any topic of your choice, and can be one that you've already written, one that responds to a different prompt, or one of your own design. So generally, all of these prompts are open-ended, and the way I like to view it essentially is that the Common App essay, the personal statement, is unprompted or very open-ended. If there is something you want to talk about that is important to you, this is where you talk about it. So personally, my personal statement, so as I said earlier, my parents are tango instructors and they're from Argentina. So I've been dancing tango my whole life. And that's been a huge aspect of my identity. But tango has this side that can be very misogynistic and upholding of the patriarchy. And I'm someone who, believes in equality and feminism. And so when I approached the personal statement, I talked about balancing being true to my heritage and my culture of tango, but also balancing that with the concept of my beliefs and believing in equality, which is something that I've struggled with my whole life. But I'll read the first two paragraphs. These are the first two paragraphs from my personal statement, which I will read. I was named after a prostitute, which is something that I am simultaneously proud of and appalled by. I am proud to carry a name that encompasses the beauty of my culture and my passion. I'm ashamed that it bears the name of a woman who is not seen as human and who is not given credit for the tango she inspired, which I was later named after. As a kid, I was jealous of friends whose parents were professors or lawyers. While they were raised in an academic environment, being taught about the government and the way the world works, I was taught tango and its history. But these lessons came charged with subscripts of normalized misogyny. Tango is a dance where partners are divided into the leader, the man, who improvises the choreography, and the follower, the woman, who must follow the man's lead. When I became old enough to understand these gendered roles and their implications, I began to reject tango because of the misogyny that it stood for. So these are the two introducing paragraphs to my personal statement. And I would just want to point out a couple of things. Something that I really wanted to do with my Common App essay is start with a hook that really engaged the reader. And I think I did accomplish that with my opening statement. And then segue that into sort of the problem or issue that you will be talking about. Yeah, so if there's any questions about this, we can ask them at the
I
end.
think
But
we're going to ask the questions towards the end, but I just want to share this is a phenomenal hook. I'm wondering which sixth grade Hunter writing class taught you that. I'm just kidding. But I'm just saying, but we do at Kweller Prep, we do teach the kids in the sixth grade to start with a hook and something that is an eye opener. So this is certainly an eye opener, Malena. With that being said, I am very happy that you're sharing this with us. If everyone should know that with just to quickly recap before we go to the next slide. In the common application, you'll choose one of the essay prompts and then you respond. So here is where the response is. And again, it's the most honest and most sincere version of yourself in the personal statement. So we'll keep going, but again, I just want to share this structure, this format is amazing, and it's remarkable to see the structure, and it's carried with you. The essay writing is really visible. The skill in every sentence here is phenomenal, and it's so easy to read, and it's fluid, and everything connects. So amazing. All right, we're going on.
Thank you. So this is the summer before your senior year continued. You want to finish filling out the common application. If you don't know, the common application or the Common App is the most common way to apply to colleges. There is a general section with 7 sections that you must fill out basic information about yourself. And the 7 sections are profile, and these are just your basic questions about you, your demographics, things like that. Your family section, where you put information about your living situation and your family members, things like that. And then education, and here's where you put your grades, some of the the classes you take your senior year, the honors, which you are given 5 slots to put in awards you've won over the past or throughout your high school career, and then future plans, which is sort of what you intend on studying. The next section is the testing, and this is where you put your SAT and AP test scores. And then the last, or the second to last 2, are the ones that need the most attention from you. So your activity section, you're given 10 slots for different extracurricular things that you have done throughout your high school career. And you're given space to put in how many hours you've put into each one, how many weeks, how many years, and then I think 100 characters to describe that activity and how you've contributed to it. And then the writing section, which is your personal statement, you select which prompt you answered, and you have to paste in your personal statement once you're done. So for that, I honestly recommend filling all of this out on Google Docs or something separate, so then you can paste it in, because sometimes it can be tricky, refreshing the page and you lose your all that you've saved. So always save things on Google Docs or something similar before. For the testing section, I'm just gonna give you some of my stats. For the SAT, I submitted a 1560. I got a 770 in writing and a 790 in math. The AP scores that I submitted, I got a 5 on AP US history, a 5 on AP English language, a 4 in European history, and a 4 in AP Physics 1. And I just want to also share what I didn't submit, because I know sometimes, school can be difficult, and don't be discouraged if you get one bad test score. The first time I took the SAT, I got a 1450, and then I also got a 3 on AP Art History and a 2 on AP Latin. Obviously, I did not submit those to schools. So don't be discouraged if you do receive a bad score sometime. It happens to everyone. About your activities, like I said earlier, you're given 10 slots for 10 different activities. So make sure to put your effort into these 10, because you're not going to have space to put any more. In the descriptions, I highly recommend you use like action verbs. So like you ran this, or you organized this, or etc. Make sure to include numbers. So how much money you raised for something, some organization, how many students led. For example, I was a captain of the #1 ranked speech and debate team in the country at Bronx Science, and the specific squad I led was about 50 students. So that's something I put in. And they ask for the number of hours that you've committed to these activities. So make sure that these numbers are reasonable. Don't say that you spent 100 hours a week on something, because they know that that's not accurate and not possible at all. Also, something that people don't realize is that you can put family responsibilities as an activity, even though it's not something that's like formal. So if you are somebody who translates for your parents, or takes care of your siblings, or is a general facilitator and organizer of things for your family, that's something you can put down, something I did. And here were the 10 extracurriculars that I put down. So first, I founded the Gender Equity Board at my school. And essentially what this group does is we present to the Bronx Science faculty on how to make their classrooms more inclusive and things teachers and administrators can improve upon to make Bronx Science, to improve Bronx Science. And through this organization, we've also presented to outside of school organizations. We did a presentation to Step Up and Math for America, which are groups that are essentially dedicated to highlighting women in STEM and improving things for women in school. As I mentioned earlier, I was a captain of the speech and debate team. I was the head of outreach of this student-led nonprofit that provided tutoring for younger elementary school students who speak Spanish and are struggling to acclimate to English school. I did dance, as I mentioned earlier, practically my whole life. I put family responsibilities. As I said, my parents are immigrants, so I do a lot of translating. And then just because we only had 10 slots, I kind of combined things together. I did overall volunteering. My school has big SIB programs, which are essentially like student mentors. I was a member of the National Honor Society. I did cultural clubs at my school, so I was president of the Multicultural Club and a senior member of the Student Diversity Committee. I was secretary of our senior council, so I essentially planned prom and graduation and activities for the senior class, which was fun. And then I did some volunteering for a Tango nonprofit. And then through my school, we have a 3-year-long course that is designated to help you apply to Regeneron, which is a research competition. And so that was my last extracurricular. Okay, so applying early. So I applied to Princeton REA and I was deferred, which I was a little sad about, but I like the saying rejection is redirection. And I think that's something always to consider. If you do get deferred when you apply early, I would highly encourage you to write a letter of continued interest. And in this letter, you can upload it to your portal. And essentially, you have to say new achievements that you've made since applying. So I wrote about how I expanded my gender equity board group to give presentations to organizations outside of school and how I qualified to the Tournament of Champions in speech and debate, which is a prestigious tournament at the end of the year. So essentially, you want to show that you've been achieving things beyond just when you submitted your application. And when it comes to applying to schools early, you want to make sure that you love the school that you apply early to, because a lot of the time, if it's not restricted early action, if it's early decision, it is binding. So if you get in, you have to go. So make sure that you visit that school if you can, talk to current students and research online about that school to make sure it would be a good fit. So something I highly recommend and something that I did is I read student newspapers. So the articles that those current students at those schools are publishing can really give you insight on how that school functions, sort of the environment, the atmosphere around that school. And also make sure to apply early to public schools. These are the ones that I did for SUNYs. I did Stony Brook, Binghamton, and the University of Albany. I also applied early to CUNY's. I did Macaulay Honors at Hunter, Baruch, and City College. And then I did the University of Michigan, as well as Princeton. All right. And when it comes to supplements, which you will be writing for most of the schools that you apply to, nowadays most schools will ask you to write essays specifically for that school. And these essays can typically range. I had one supplemental that was 3 words and others that were 650. So essentially another personal statement. But the majority of these essays, or at least for the ones I applied to, were from 200 to 300 words. So they are shorter. Throughout my process, I ended up I ended up writing 70 supplemental essays, which I know can sound like a lot. but I'm going to share some tips on how I made this possible. But basically, the goal with these essays is you want to show the admissions officers that you belong at that school. You have to show them that you've done your research and that you know a lot about the school and that you know that you would be a good fit. Through these essays, alongside your personal statement, you want to show them who you are and what you would bring to that community. So, talking a lot of about the aspects that are unique about you as a student and as a person. And a lot of the times, schools use similar prompts. But some things to keep in mind is that these schools know what the other schools' prompts are. So they know that it's a lot of the time students can just copy and paste things, but that's not something you want to do because you want the school to know that you are making the effort of showing them that you belong at that specific school. And if you have an essay that can be copy and pasted to submit to 10 different schools, that's not going to be unique to any of those schools. And that is going to be able to be seen from reading the essay. So you want each of your essays to be directed to that school so that the admissions officers can see like, oh, you've done your research, you know about this, you know that they would be a good fit. So here's a little bit how I was organized throughout my supplement writing journey. I put all of the schools into this spreadsheet. I put down the supplement topic and what it was asking me for, as you can see here, and sort of the topic that I wanted to talk about. And so as you can see, some of them do repeat for the topics, but these essays were unique. They might have been about the same thing, but they were targeted to a different aspect about the school, something, maybe a school has a certain organization that is related to something that you do in high school, and you want to continue your work through that. And so that's something you can talk about. But that's not something you can copy and paste to other schools because they're not the same. They don't have the same activities, organizations, things like that. So you want to make them unique. And then I just wrote the word count and my status, which I would change throughout my process. So something I just want to reiterate is being organized throughout this process is going to save you a lot of time and stress if you know where everything is. So highly encourage that organization. And once you've submitted all of your applications, once you've filled out the Common App, you've submitted your personal statement and all of your supplemental essays, what comes next are the interviews, which personally for me was the most stressful aspect. It can be, intimidating to speak to somebody. Just for some context, a lot of the times these interviews are with alumni of the school that you're interviewing for. And some tips I have for you is to practice. What I did a lot at first is I practiced with my friends, family, trusted teachers. But also once you've got a little bit of foundation, I also encourage you to practice with people you don't know as well. So for example, a guidance counselor who isn't yours, a teacher who you didn't have, or a friend's parent, because not doing it with somebody you don't have a personal connection to is really going to simulate what it's going to feel like during an actual interview. So that's something I highly encourage. And for all of my interviews, I started off with what I like to call like an elevator pitch about yourself. So I started obviously with your name, what school you go to, where you're from, and I would briefly mention my top 3 extracurriculars and what I plan to study. And I would try to keep that at 30 seconds, just so that, your interviewer can get to know a little bit about yourself right off the bat of the interview. And then something to always remember to do is once you finish your interview, like that night, I would follow up all of them with an email thanking them for their time. Because I know a lot of the time for interviewers, they have to write up a whole summary of the interview and the conversation, what it was like. And it can be really time consuming. And they're going out of their way to interview you and to help you throughout this process. So take the time to thank them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. And a lot of the times with the interviewers, they are trying to advocate for you. So give them things that they can use to your advantage when they're speaking about you to the admissions counselors. They want to help you, so help them help you, and give them aspects about yourself that you are proud of, things that you want to highlight that maybe you didn't in your essays or personal statement. And then some overall tips about the whole process. First, be organized. I know this, I said this before, but I used a Google Sheets to keep all of my information organized, and I'm going to show a screenshot in the next slide. I actually created a new Gmail account so I could have all of my college information stored in one place. So every time I would visit a school at the college fair and they ask you to sign your name and email, I would put this new email so all of my information can be collected. Um, and then for the Common App, something very specific that I encourage people to do is in the education section under future plans. I have a screenshot here. You can put a career interest, and there's like the basic options like going into law, medicine, et cetera, et cetera. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom and put other, there's this, they give you, I think, maybe 100 characters to write anything that you want about what you want to do in the future. And this is one of the first things that they see in like the admissions packet. So I would highly encourage you to take the opportunity to, start off with something strong that you can make you stand out to the admissions officers. So what I submitted is I want to implement policy change to improve public education on a macro level, which I think stands out more if I had just put public policy or something like that. So that's a tip I have. For the personal statement, like I said earlier, starting off with the strong hooks to engage them, because remember, these admissions officers are seeing thousands and thousands of essays. So you want yours to stand out and hook them immediately. And also throughout your whole application, you want to tell a story. And you want to make sure all the components of your application reinforce this one story. So personally, for me, I had a lot to do with gender equity. A lot of my supplements were about this and my extracurriculars, and also educational equity. So, showing the admissions officers that there are certain things that you're passionate about, and you explore that passion through multiple facets throughout your life up until this point. And this is something that you want to talk about if you can throughout your application. So in your interviews, in your essays, through your activities lists, that's, I think, a lot what they want to see in your application, that you're somebody who's passionate and is willing to explore that passion in multiple ways. And this is a screenshot from my college spreadsheet. As you can see, I put all the schools down, the number of subs that they required. I hyperlinked to the Google Doc with those supplements, and just more information that I wanted to keep for these applications. And here you can see that I did interviews for Princeton, Macaulay Honors, Harvard, Yale, Georgetown, and Smith. So if anyone has questions about how those went, I can answer that.
Right.
And I think
We'll save the questions towards the end, but I just want everyone to notice, again, this is a Google Doc, right? This is just you organizing Google Docs. So in terms of order and organization, I really appreciate that you're sharing this with us. We see color coding here, we see order, but at the end of the day, everyone, this is a Google Doc. Okay, so just remember we're dealing with small, simple order. And if your organization is a post-it or a colored post-it or 100 post-its, fine. If your organization is a Google Doc, go for it. But this is order, and this is how to stay organized. So thank you so much for sharing this with us, because this is a very common question, how to stay organized during this process. And this is really a spreadsheet. Where's the school? Did you submit? Is everything in order? Thank you again. We'll keep going.
and just a couple of things I wanted to highlight. Something that I'm really glad I kept track of is what specific major I applied to for each school, because not each school offers the same exact major, and you might not also be interested in a slightly different major depending on what they offer. And a lot of the times when going into interviews, I was really glad that I kept track and had very easy access to see what specific major I applied to, so I could talk about it during my interview. I know a lot of my friends, they were like, oh, I'm going into this interview and I don't even remember what major I applied for. So something that I would highly recommend you keep track of. Um, and then moving on. So I highly recommend Kweller Prep. I started Kweller Prep in the 6th grade when I took it for the Hunter test. And this is where I learned a lot of the tips that really helped me throughout the supplemental and personal statement writing aspect of the college admissions process. Like we mentioned earlier, starting off with that hook, keeping the reader engaged throughout the whole essay, being organized, having a structure. These are all things that you learn in Kweller. And I highly encourage you be able to take part of that. So unfortunately, I didn't get into Hunter, but you know, I believe everything happens for a reason. Ultimately, um, I'm happy where it ended up.
I do want to share things happen for a reason. At the time of your application, Hunter had put a cap where you could only apply to 7 private colleges and unlimited state. Then they raised it to 8 private colleges. So things do happen for a reason. Also in the Hunter program in the 6th grade, that's where we really did a deep dive into essay writing. So perhaps everything it does, it divine intervention. Here you are in the 6th grade learning about how to write with a hook and how to put together a descriptive essay. And here you are today using that 6 years later. So things happen, and you're meant to be at Bronx Science and applying to 28 colleges. It is divine because as we're speaking right now, Hunter did have a cap, and you made it. So I'm very happy. Keep going.
Um, so I also joined Kweller Prep's SHSAT program in the 7th grade to get into a specialized high school. I got into my first choice, Bronx Science, and this program really helped me with the SHSAT is very similar to the SAT. It has components that are very like. So starting with these with the support, with this help for standardized testing, it's really helpful that I got that early on. Because these are sort of skills and concepts that they they become better with time. So it's no better to start early. And then I did Kweller Prep for the PSAT program. Um, and this was essentially for me, I saw it as early SAT prep. And I also did a lot of the Kweller Prep college webinars like this one. So Kweller Prep has really supported me through the college admissions process, and I highly, highly encourage it. And I could not have done this without Kweller. So thank you.
I just want to say thank you for this gorgeous slideshow and the shout out. We love it. Everyone who's in the audience right now, one day you will be leading a webinar. So just remember, we're going to channel those positive vibes. One day you'll be on the other side. How does it feel, by the way? How does it feel to be leading a webinar, not participating?
Honestly, it's surreal. It's all been surreal since I've opened those decisions. I can't believe it. But, you know, hard work pays
Amazing.
off. So, you know, it's important that everyone put in the effort because you can achieve what you want. Okay. So, like I said, I highly recommend Kweller Prep. If you need help with your college applications, I'm available. Here's the contact info. You can go to the Kweller Prep website. Highly, highly recommend. Um, you know, this is a very complicated and daunting process, and any help that you can receive is gonna make you more successful. And that's honestly what we're all trying to do. So, oh, my mother was gonna give some wisdom. Here are some pictures of us. I'm gonna call her over just now. Um,
As your mom is about to switch, I just want to add for everyone just some reflection and moment. I want everyone to see this is not just about applying to college and getting in. What we're really doing right now is learning order, organization, structure, how to take accountability, how to say, this is really a special moment because not only is Malena sharing this amazing 28 out of 28 college acceptance, but what she's sharing is how important it is to learn how to be organized, order, and how to work on a to-do list, how to execute a to-do list. These are such special skills. And throughout your years at Kweller Prep, as you remember, and many of the students remember, we have a syllabus, we have a plan, we have an execution for how each class will go. And there's always order, there's always organization. Thank you so much for sharing this with us so that we see how you stayed organized during this process. Yay. Oh my gosh, Melena's
Hi, that's my
mom.
mom.
Hello, mommy.
Hola, hello.
Hi, mommy. Wait, can we put your mom, can you, do you want to take a moment to, Melina, just to take, do you want to just remove the share screen so that
Oh yeah.
we can put your mom on?
Um,
Hi, mommy. Okay, good. Hello. Welcome to our classroom. All right. So thank you so much. Can you give advice really from the heart? We are not rehearsing, we're not scripting, we did not talk about this, but really give advice as a parent. And you live in a home where English is the second language. I grew up in this type of home as well. Can you give advice from the heart? How would you recommend the parents support their children during this process?
Okay, I will do in Spanish and you help me.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, together.
So it's absolutely important. Es la mayor inversión que vamos a hacer en nuestros hijos, es dejarle una herencia con la educación.
I can translate. She's basically saying that investing in your child's education is the biggest investment you're going to make in your life as a parent to your child, so it's important that you make it.
La herencia que le dejamos a nuestros hijos es la educación.
The education is the inheritance that you're leaving to your child, so it's important.
Y cuando llegué a Kweller, a través de recomendaciones, sí, mucha gente hablaba, lo había escuchado muchos años atrás, y llegué a Kweller y encontré que era como una familia en donde los chicos trabajaban muy cómodamente y estudiaron muchísimo. Y veía fotos de dónde habían estado, summer camp y millones de cosas en Queller, en la agencia que en ese momento estaba en Park Avenue, ¿sí? Y creo que es muy, muy importante que los chicos estén cómodos estudiando y también que la calidad. Es altamente recomendable que los chicos estudien ahí porque tienen calidad y todos los chicos cuando salen de ahí están bien preparados. Y es muy, muy importante que las mamás y los papás sepamos dónde están nuestros chicos estudiando. Y creo que Queller es una gran familia en donde los ayuda a los estudiantes a seguir y es el gran trampolín para saltar.
Basically, my mom heard about color through recommendation. A lot of my friends' parents were talking about it, and so when she looked into it, she thought it was a great community. It felt that the students here were a family and supporting each other, and really learning from like in a quality environment with great tutors, and just supporting each other. And that Queller is really like a launch pad for success throughout your life. So and learning skills that they later take on with them in whatever they pursue.
What made you decide after the Hunter program, and I'm being very honest, your child did Queller Hunter and then she didn't get in and then you came back. What made you decide I'm going to try Queller again after this defeat?
No, I understand. I understand Hunter is very difficult. I know Malena was absolutely, she studied a lot, and I know she has a preparation. And maybe the mistake was a short preparation. Maybe she did 1 year in advance. So I think it's good to take things in advance, to prepare with time. Because in the moment of the stress, it's absolutely difficult. And when she talked was in very short period, and the test is coming very soon. And when I hear and I talk with other ones, they are like, oh no, we are here for 1 year. And I say, oh, la, la. That is going to be difficult. But I think also we come back for the PSAT. was online, and and I think it was wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
always
during the
always
pandemic.
keep trying, always keep trying in the good school.
Also, I just want to add on that I remember after the Hunter prep course and I did the test, I knew that I still wanted to apply to a specialized high school, especially considering that I didn't get into Hunter. And I just remember I had such a positive experience going through the Hunter prep course at Kweller, despite not getting in, that I knew that it's something I wanted to continue with. Like, I genuinely enjoyed going in. I think I went on Saturday mornings. And the friends I made through the program, I had I thought a good relationship with my tutor, and I thought it was overall a positive experience that I didn't want to end. So I also asked my mom to continue Queller for the SHSAT.
So right now, your support as a mother for every parent who's listening right now in your family, what is the best advice you can give to students who, especially to the parents right now, and really just because you gave your daughter this gift where she had the specialized high school background, what is the best advice that you can give to parents so that they're also successful in their journey? And you
First
can
things,
say it in Spanish. By the way, we have Translate on, so you can, if it's more
okay,
comfortable, it's not a
yeah.
problem.
Primero confiar en su propio hijo, en su propia hija, que eso es muy importante, que es una tarea de todos los días y que es muy importante que para que los chicos, los jóvenes, puedan elevar la educación y llegar a un nivel más alto, es muy importante que estén en buenas manos. Es absolutamente importante que estudien en un buen lugar, en esta preparación que es tan estresante, y yo la llamo insana, es insane, le digo, pero toda esta preparación tiene que estar en buenas manos y que los estudiantes tienen que estar en un buen lugar en donde los preparen bien, porque son muy capaces, son responsables, pero depende también, absolutamente depende de la preparación. Entonces es muy, muy importante estar en buenas manos. Y Queller son buenas manos.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias, Mama.
Oh,
So
merci beaucoup.
That's it.
Gracias,
Harvard. This
gracias.
is
Muchas
muchas
gracias. Un
gracias.
placer.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for starting everything early, and you did PSAT. You started everything ahead of, you went ahead. So after Hunter, you said I'm gonna be early. So now you said I'm gonna do SHSAT, I'm gonna do SAT, everything, I'm gonna be ahead now.
Sí, eso, early is the best.
Thank you. I'm so happy and congratulations. We hope and we're excited to see your daughter. She's going to change the world, a world leader. We're so lucky. This is amazing. And she was in our classroom from 6th grade. So we're so lucky to see this and to have it. Thank you. Thank you so much for this webinar and for this information. Malena, I have some chat questions. Can I go through them with you? Let me go through the questions. Okay. Hold on. One of the parents is asking, with so many extracurriculars, studying, getting ready. So here, how did you find time? You also obviously have friends, you have a life, you want to have fun. How did you find time to balance everything?
So for me, a lot of this came down to like organizing my schedule and sticking to it. I know at the beginning of every year, I sit down and I organize what extracurriculars I'm going to do each day and make sure that it's something I can stick to and something that's actually feasible for me to do. So speech and debate, that's 2 days a week, my club 1 day a week, and just kind of like fitting everything in, kind of like a puzzle. And I think once you have your schedule that's organized, and you stick to it, it's easier to follow and things become more manageable. It's when, in my experience, it's when I didn't have a set schedule and wasn't sticking to what my plans were going to be, that things became stressful and out of hand. Also in terms of like having time for friends, it also became sort of a thing of like scheduling, you know,
Yeah.
setting a like texting your friends and being like in advance, can we do something this day from this to this? And you know, that's something that times might not be the most exciting to know set in your planner when you're gonna hang out with your friends. But ultimately it's these sacrifices that, you know, lead to
And
success.
then the parent is asking, when did you start PSAT prep? When did you start SAT prep?
Um, I think I started PSAT prep.
I want to say 10th grade, right? You started in 10 and then you
Yeah.
took yeah, correct. So it was 10th grade and then 11 October you took it as an exam. I'm really impressed that you took the PSAT, you took the SAT. As many people know, and as you know, the tests have gone optional, but you chose to show. You said, I have strong knowledge, I have strong commands, and I will take it. It's just such an incredible journey. The parent is asking, what awards did you emphasize in your college application?
So I did 2 speech and debate awards from tournaments. I was a finalist at 2 national tournaments, so that's something I put in. I also was a finalist in the national Latin exam. I took Latin for 6 years. So that's something I wanted to highlight. And then I was a finalist in this program called the Bruner Awards at my school, which basically you get a scholarship to pursue something outside of school. So I did the Barnard pre-college program last summer, and that award basically funded that for me. And
So there also someone's asking, how long before the SHSAT? When did you start? We just discussed earlier you started 7th grade. Because your mother, I believe, said earlier that Hunter, she felt a little like rushed. You did it right before the test, and then you learned
yeah,
others who were studying for a year. But so SHSAT, do you recall when you started SHSAT prep?
I do. I started the January of my 7th grade year. And so I studied all that winter, all that spring, all that summer, and then I took the SHSAT in October. So essentially 10 months of studying.
So everyone, I just want to share with you that we are extremely fortunate again that you're just so open and transparent with us. And I just want to remind the families that we do help. We offer full service with college applications. And Malena wants a job until college starts because she needs to have her college funding in order in terms of your order and organization. So if you would like to have this phenomenal tutor, educator, mentor, role model, and someone who could really set up some cool organization systems and color coding, just know that we offer that. We have it at Kweller. And actually we'll create a coupon code, Malena. It will be ready. It'll be Malena 100. Malena to get 100 off. So I will follow up with everyone. What I do want to share and stress is that you spoke today from the heart. We did not script, we didn't really rehearse. We just said we're going to share wisdom. And that was the purpose of today. It's extremely impressive that you're so dedicated. And this was really quite the endeavor. Can you just close by talking about how you believe in yourself? Because I am positive that many people told you, no, apply to 2 colleges, apply to Queens College, apply to, I mean, again, you grew up in a home where, if you could just remind everyone, did your parents go to college? Did they go to Harvard, Princeton,
No, my parents did not attend college, any college. They were
at
immigrants from
all?
Argentina, and they're artists. So um there was a lot of times where they didn't really have the knowledge to support me throughout this process. And I think ultimately you have to believe in yourself and believe that you can achieve the acceptance or anything that you want to achieve, because ultimately you are your biggest supporter. And there's always going to be people telling you oh, I don't think you can do this, or I had a guidance counselor tell me, I don't think it's advisable for you to be applying to so many elite universities. But thankfully, I didn't listen to that. I believed in myself. Um, I knew that if I put in the effort, this was something that I would be able to achieve. And obviously at the time, I didn't know I would get into all of these universities. I was hoping for one, which was extremely surprising, and I still can't believe it. But you know, putting in the effort, and there's going to be moments when you're doubting yourself because this process is so complicated and stressful. But you know, reminding yourself of the goal, which is going to a good school. So yeah. I
This
don't know.
has been, go ahead, go ahead.
I put up a little banner that said Harvard, I think last year during the summer in my room. And every day when I was busy doing homework and writing these essays, I would just remind myself, that was my reminder of what my goal was. And I achieved it. Also, I got some questions in the chat to me that I just
Sure.
wanted to
So
address.
yeah, we'll go through it quickly because we're a little tight. I want to finish at 8.
Um,
Go ahead.
Somebody asked me about summers during your high school. I would encourage, I don't think you have to spend your summers thinking, oh, I'm doing this for college, but you know, keeping yourself busy doing something that you genuinely like doing and are passionate about. So that might be like participating in some sort of like arts thing, or you know, finding somewhere you can volunteer at, things that interest you. And somebody asked me, how did I manage to write so many different essays? It's really about sticking to the schedule. I wrote out a schedule pretty much all my first semester of senior year, being like, today, I have to get my math homework done and this done, and I'm also going to write these 2 essays for these colleges. And then the next day, oh, I have to do this and this, and then I'm going to write these other essays.
Everyone, please, you can type thank you into the chat box. I'm going to write thank you. I'm very honored that, so when I first envisioned Kweller Prep, this is over 15 years ago, it was for students like you. And I'm so honored that we're having such a special moment right now. Your parents have very limited funds, very limited money, and they chose to invest in giving you education through Kweller Prep. It is an honor that every dollar they chose was towards you in your education and building you so that you could go to specialized high school, so that you could go to college. I can only imagine how hard it must have been all of these years where English is truly a second language at home and you're navigating the world. So you're just a superhero, a heroine in so many ways. We're so impressed with you and your background, and it's really a meaningful moment. And for me to be an audience member and learn from you, where you have the same face when you were 6th grade at Kweller Prep, and here you are now, 28 college acceptances later. I mean, there's just a lot that I can learn from you. There's a lot that I learned from you. So I'm so grateful that you shared your wisdom and your wealth. And everyone in this group, please send Malena a huge thank you into this chat. And we're just all praying for you. We are rooting for you. You are the light. You are the change. You are the instrument that's going to make the world a better place. I'm really proud of your mission to help with gender, with equality. As a women-owned business, I have quite a few stories I can tell at a different time. Maybe I'll have my own webinar, which you can moderate. Maybe we'll switch and you'll interview me, because I can tell you as a women-owned business, this was quite hard, moving up the ladder and breaking through the glass ceiling. So I definitely feel for you. It means so much that you did this today. Everyone, thank you. Can everyone take a moment? What I'll do is I'm gonna count to 3. I'm gonna take everyone off mute and we're gonna all say thank you as one group. This is one of my favorite parts where we all say thank you. So please bear with me. Hold on. Please bear with me. Ask all to unmute. So everyone, I'm asking everyone to unmute and we're gonna count to, are we doing it? Ready? Wait. This is a special moment. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I want to record it. Don't go anywhere, everybody. Stop. Don't leave. Wait. Okay, I'm recording this piece. This is my favorite. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Gracias. We're so lucky. We're so lucky. This was so informative. Tell everyone how old.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Malena, tell everyone how old you are. How old are you?
I'm 17.
She's 17. She led a Kweller Prep webinar for over 100 people. This is this is newsworthy. This is famous. I'm so proud of you. Everyone, this is our last congratulations. Ready? Congratulations. Yay! We are going to share this webinar with families. Look at how cool this is.
Felicitaciones. Felicitaciones.
Muchas
Bravo.
gracias.
Bravissimo. Ready? Wow. All right, everyone. Thank you. And please keep us in mind for all of your college needs. Malena, it's very cool. You're leading the webinar today at 17 years old. Ooh, look at this comment. Wow. All right. Bravo. Bye,
Thank you so much for
everyone.
listening to me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.